Hi everybody, Randy Wakeman here. I'll try to stay in the sun, which is going down quickly. This is Winchester's XPR, chambered in 350 Legend. Now the 350 Legend has been a big hit, legal in Illinois this year for whitetail hunting. The Winchester brand XPR has been out for quite a while. This is the very first example I've ever tested. I think it came out around 2015, 2016. So it's Winchester brands offering in a moderately priced, affordable bolt-action rifle. It's got a very smooth bolt, I can tell you that. Very, very smooth. It's got a 3-lug head. The trigger is a little on the heavy side, as supplied, about 5 1/4 pounds, but there is almost no take-up. No take-up that I can feel, and extremely crisp. So a lot of people that don't like take-up, I certainly don't like excessive take-up, will appreciate the trigger. And it's a conventional trigger. I'm not sure if this is what they've dubbed their MOA trigger or not. But you don't have to worry about pulling on a flap to engage the trigger. If the safety's off, away you go. Now, one of my pet peeves that I just don't like for hunting rifles is a bolt that'll flop up and down. Even though it's a 2-position safety, when the safety's on, this bolt is not going to move. So it's not going to get hung up on brush, etc., etc. You're not going to have anything inadvertently lift up the handle of your bolt. However, you have a button right here that you can use to release the bolt. So even though the safety is on, you can jack in around or jack out around. So I like that. That's very cool. So it's not specifically a 3-position safety like you find on the Savage, just a 2-position safety, but the bolt is definitely locked. And thumb safety is pretty easy to get off. Synthetic stock, which I call plastic. And the finish is matte. I'm not sure if they call this permacoat or exactly what the finish is, but it's evenly applied. So it looks halfway decent. I mean, it's still a plain Jane type model with a plastic trigger guard. Although the mold lines on this trigger guard are on the inside and on the outside, so at least there's an attempt there to not be as ugly as it could be. The inflex pad is excellent. They're always excellent. Still have a fairly hollow stock, but that's what you get if you want a plastic stock gun. So I've never shot it before. The way it came in was without scope or without bases for that matter, and I really don't understand the no bases idea since there are no iron sights. But I've mounted a Citron S1 3.5 by 10 by 50, which I think looks pretty darn good on this rifle. So I've never shot it before, but hopefully I can get it on the paper, or at least preliminary sight in, and then we can go from there. I've got some paper set up at just 25 yards. I've also upgraded my shooting a little bit. I used to shoot off of a wobbly plastic little table, which I still have the wobbly plastic little table, but I've upgraded. And this is it's a steel table with metal legs. If you're in the same situation, you don't want to drop a lot of money on a sturdy shooting platform, or you don't want to build one, you want something that's portable. This is straight from Home Depot. In fact, I'll put up an image of the container it came in. So I think it's normally $89. Home Depot has sales regularly, $69. So really it's an excellent metal table with metal legs, easy to put together. So that's a recommendation if you need a table, or if you want a cheap table for your deck or patio or whatever, because it is metal. It's supposed to be a wood type finish, doesn't really look like wood, but it is attractive. So let's take a few shots and see if at least if it's on the paper. I have no idea, but we can make our course adjustments at 25 yards and then go sight in. I'm just going to use some range ammo. I've got some Winchester full metal jacket. That's what I'm using right here. Not hunting loads, but that's one of the benefits of the 350 Legend is use the economical stuff for practice, for sight in, and then your final shots before you're ready to hunt with the good stuff. So we'll see how it works. The Winchester XPR uses a plastic magazine, but it loads extremely easily. It's a 4-shot magazine. The first 3 just slip right in. 4th one takes a little more effort, but not much. You don't need a tool. It's easy enough to do with your fingers, and it fits real well. So, for your amusement, pleasure, and mine, we'll see if we can hit the paper for starters. Sometimes scopes listen to me quite well, sometimes they do not. So let's see if this Citron S1 did. Not nearly enough. Well, we'll try it again. We'll get there sooner or later. I hope it's sooner. All right, we'll try it again. We've made some progress, but not quite enough. It's an awful lot of turret spinning. Sometimes we luck out, sometimes we don't. Before we run out of daylight, I'd mentioned how easy the magazine is to load. So I'll just show you, look how easy the cartridges slip right in. Nothing to it. So Winchester gets an A+ on that. Because I mean, that's just, there's nothing to it. So even with gloved hands, cold hands, wet hands, you wouldn't have much of a problem. So even though it's plastic, very good job on the magazine, which is of course a single stack magazine. But hopefully this will be suitable so we can come back and do at least some 100-yard comparisons between this and the Savage 110, which is the whole idea. But in general, I like this little Winchester. You can imagine extremely soft shooting and just super easy to use. Well, good enough for government work. That's all we need as far as a preliminary sight-in, because now we ought to be on the paper at 100 yards. That's going to wrap it up for our preliminary sight-in with the Winchester. As you can see, the last 3 shots, the first one was bullseye, second shot here, second one through the same hole as the first. So that's perfectly sufficient for a course sight-in to at least get on the paper at 100 yards. And as far as the Winchester itself, I like it. It's fairly well balanced, slightly front heavy, but that's to be expected with plastic stocks. Not a lot of weight in back, but not bad. Not bad at all. It does feed smoothly, loads smoothly, and the ejection is excellent. I like the locking bolt. And the trigger, like I said, the trigger is extremely crisp. It's just a little on the heavy side. But some people may like that for a hunting trigger. 5.25 pounds, about 5.25 on the trigger gauge. After this small amount of shooting, I'll try it again, see if that's changed. But for a good basic rifle, looks like it wants to group. So next time, we'll do part 2, and we'll compare the Winchester versus the Savage 110, both in 350 Legend. So we'll see you next time.